everyone, I'm Marcy from Mixed Media Girl on YouTube, and you're watching Hometalk. Let's get started. For today's project, we're going to take this simple dollar store pizza pan and we're going to make it into something awesome. Now you can leave it silver like this, but because I'm a huge fan of gold, I'm actually going to take this outside and quickly spray paint it with gold front and back, and then we'll get started on the project. I spray painted my pan with gold, front and back. And now we're gonna go ahead and do an acrylic pour inside of this. So I have a little silicone bowl that I like to use. It's great because I can reuse it and not have to throw anything away. And for this project, I'll be using the Artist Loft Ready Mixed Pouring Paint. So that means it's just ready to go right out of the bottle. You do not need to mix anything into it. However, if you would like to mix your own pouring paints, you absolutely can do so. My equation is about 1 ounce of paint for every 16 square inches. So this should be plenty here. And keep in mind, I will not be running any off the side, or at least that's the plan. If I have too much paint, I might need to. And I'm gonna go in the center here and just go in a circle. This is what we call a tree ring. Just going in a little circle, and you'll see that paint pushing out there. All right, that should be plenty. I did leave a little bit in my bowl there because I want to keep it on the inside rim here. I don't want it to go outside, so I want this rim to stay gold, and hopefully I don't have to touch it up. If need be though, if I get a little paint on it, I can totally touch it up with some gold paint later. And I'm gonna just slowly roll this around inside until we get coverage on the base. So this might take some practice to see how much paint you need. If you use too much paint, it's not the end of the world, but what will happen is that your painting will likely crack as it dries. And we generally don't want that, but it is also totally fine if it does occur. There we go. That's all there is to this step. Now we're gonna let this dry. I recommend letting it dry for at least a week or two, if not even a little bit longer. It kind of depends on the temperature where you are. But when we seal it, we wanna make sure that that acrylic paint is fully dry, and it takes a while to actually cure. So we're gonna come back when this is fully dry. We're back and this is completely dry now. The next thing we're gonna do is glue down the handles. These do have screw holes, so if you wanted to, you could actually screw them in from the bottom, but I prefer to actually glue them just so that they will actually stay, and then I'm gonna be pouring the resin around them. I've already decided where I'm going to put them. And I'm going to go ahead and use, this is diamond glaze, but you can use virtually any glue. So I'm just going to put it in the handle here and then place it. I'm not worried if it drips or anything because it dries clear. So I'm going to place it where I want, move it around as needed, and then I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. I let my glue fully dry now, and I have mixed up my 2-part epoxy resin here, and just follow the instructions on your bottle. I like this specific one. It is the Stone Coat Countertops Art Coat because it has a lot of UV protection as well as heat resistance. So it is a beautiful resin to use for a lot of projects. And you can probably see that little tiny bit of sparkle in there. And that's that gold dust that I added. Now I'm not going to put a very thick layer on here, but I do need a bit more resin than that. I'm going to add a little more. This is going to be a fairly thin layer. So take your time, spread it out. I'm loving that gold sparkle in there. So at this stage, I'm going to go ahead and torch this. And when working with resin, you need to torch to get rid of those air bubbles. And very simply, you just take, this is like a little culinary torch. You can get very inexpensively off Amazon or just about anywhere. Now, if we hadn't glued those handles in, they would likely be falling over at this point. So that's why we do that step. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and let this sit for about 10 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and I'll torch it one more time, and then I'll let it sit and dry for 24 hours, and we'll be back. All right, here is our tray completely dry and ready for use. This is such a simple, beautiful project. Feel free to use any colors that you want whatsoever. It is great for serving or even displaying items. Love that little sparkle in there from that gold. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.